Justin Gaethje, which he is, I believe, currently around a 2-1 favorite to do so.
He is?
Yeah, a little surprising there.
That's fascinating. It's not like I think Paddy should be some ginormous underdog. But that number being so far the other way does surprise me. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it does. Then I look at the stuff on Just Insider. I don't know if you saw that thing about the ingrown hair, the staph infection. That's one thing. Trevor Wittman just did an interview with Brett Okamoto at ESPN, basically saying like, this is it for us. If we don't win this, we're not sticking around for money fight. I kind of worry for where Justin Gaethje's mind is at, because he was going to hold out and retire if he didn't get a fight like this either.
I just think Justin is so experienced, so violent. He brings an element that none of Paddy's past opponents has had. That being said, there are times where, I think there'd be a lot of opportunities for Paddy to get a submission. So that's what makes it a compelling.
All right, picture this. Paddy the Baddy Pimblett just dropped a line that made the entire fight world stop, blink, and lean closer. Not trash talk, not hype, but something stranger. He calmly said the striker sharpening him every day in the gym is actually better than Justin Gaethje. Better. Let that sit. Not future potential, not stylistic trouble, straight up better. The room didn't explode, it went quiet. Because that single sentence quietly twisted the narrative, cracked open a dangerous question, and poured gasoline on a matchup already simmering. Suddenly this fight isn't just noise. It's a test, a trap, and possibly a revelation nobody saw coming this year.
There's the blueprint there to beat him. Max done it. Everyone underestimates my strike and everyone thinks I'm just going to come in and I'm going to take him down, and I'm not. He had an absolute war with Chandler and I picked Chandler up. I don't wrestle like a normal person. I don't shoot double legs and single legs and wrestle like a normal person does. I do everything differently. I'm not normal. He's not going to be able to get a sparring partner in what grapples like me or strikes like me, because I'm a weirdo. I'm honest, Val, and I'm very awkward. You can't really get a sparring partner in to do me because I'm...
The Liverpool fighter has been overflowing with confidence for the entirety of this camp, which on its own isn't shocking for Pimblett, but this time it's taken on a sharper edge. He's gone beyond bravado, even hinting that he can almost feel a knockout waiting for him the moment he steps into the cage with Gaethje. What's unsettling is how he's framing it. No shouting, no chest beating, just this calm suggestion that something about this matchup clicks in a way he can't ignore, like a conclusion his body reached before his mouth did. And in his mind, that certainty has receipts. It comes from the brutal rounds he's been grinding through with a teammate he rates frighteningly high as a striker. That teammate is Luke Riley. You remember Riley, the guy who tore into the UFC late last year and detonated his debut with a savage knockout, ending things early in the second round. Pimblett was visibly buzzing that night, and that energy hasn't faded as they've continued to collide in the gym. Shot for shot, round after round, those exchanges have quietly reshaped Pimblett's expectations. He believes that surviving that fire has given him a level of calm, timing, and readiness heading into Gaethje that most fans simply are not accounting for
prior
yet.
to any thought of fighting him.
I am a Justin Gaethje fan, not was, I am.
Yeah.
And anyone who is an MMA fan and isn't a Justin Gaethje fan isn't an MMA fan. Like, I always say, he's your favourite fighter's favourite fighter. He's one of my favourite fighters, one of the best fighters that you can watch. And the fact that I'm now getting in there against him is what dream.
Was he a Justin Gaethje fan before even entertaining the idea of fighting him? That question almost feels irrelevant to him now, because he makes it clear this isn't past tense at all. He isn't someone who used to admire Justin Gaethje. He still does. In his mind, if you call yourself an MMA fan and Justin Gaethje doesn't excite you, then you're missing the point of the sport entirely. He repeats it like a rule carved in stone. He's your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. One of those rare names that even the toughest competitors quietly study. One of his personal favorites. And that's exactly why this moment feels unreal to him. Standing across from someone he's admired for so long, with interim gold hanging in the balance, feels less like a matchup and more like something pulled straight out of a dream. But here's where his confidence takes a sharp turn. From his perspective, the reasoning is almost unsettlingly simple. He truly believes Riley represents a cleaner, sharper, more technically complete striking threat than the powerhouse he's about to face. Years of relentless sparring have burned that belief into him. If he can repeatedly find success against Riley behind closed doors, why wouldn't that translate under the lights when everything matters most? To him, Riley isn't just a striker. His entire identity was forged in striking. Long before most fighters knew who they were, Riley was in Thailand, absorbing Muay Thai as a child, layer by layer. While Gaethje was grinding through wrestling in his early years, Riley was refining balance, timing, and violence, later sharpening it further through high-level amateur boxing. That contrast sticks with him. It explains the calm, the fluidity, the danger in Riley's movement. He's convinced the world will see it soon. In his eyes, Riley's rise mirrors his own, only written in fists and elbows instead of grappling chains.
Mixed for this fight, but I just feel like there's a lot of ulterior factors that people aren't considering other than just his recent win over Dan Hooker. I know he's a top contender, but there's a whole lot that he's done wrong before, and this is the big Paramount debut.
And lad, people are saying like Justin Gaethje's older than that lad. He's 2 years older than Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker couldn't grapple a put stuff as ma. You know what I mean?
Okay, strong statements about Dan Hooker there. We're in fight.
As the main event inches closer, the noise around this fight keeps narrowing in on one familiar theme, and it's Pimplett's ground game that everyone keeps circling back to. Fans, analysts, and armchair experts talk endlessly about the submissions, the frantic scrambles, the suffocating top pressure, all framing it as the single lever that could quietly flip this entire fight on its head. At the same time, Justin Gaethje's resume hangs over the matchup like a shadow you can't ignore. This is a man who has already stood across from names that define eras: Khabib Nurmagomedov, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway. Battles that forged a reputation built on damage, survival, and an almost unreasonable level of experience at lightweight. On paper, that gap alone should mean something. And yet, Pimplett doesn't seem convinced it does. He believes his style, strange as it looks, creates a very specific kind of problem that experience doesn't automatically solve. He openly admits his approach is awkward, uncomfortable, and hard to read, whether the fight is standing or tangled on the mat. He doesn't shoot the way wrestlers are taught. He doesn't enter exchanges the way strikers expect. He attacks from angles that feel wrong, from positions that don't show up in drills, sequences that don't repeat cleanly. And that's where the doubt creeps in. In his mind, no matter how many elite bodies Gaethje has faced, there's no training partner who can truly replicate this chaos. You can prepare for power. You can prepare for pressure. But preparing for something that doesn't follow the rules might be the real problem. And that problem, he insists, is uniquely his.
Up for us. Justin Gaethje has good wrestling. He uses it very well defensively.
I don't wrestle like a normal person. I don't shoot double legs and single legs and wrestle like a normal person does. I do everything differently. I'm not normal. He's not going to be able to get a sparring partner in what grapples like me or strikes like me because I'm a weirdo.
He did call your style awkward, actually.
I'm honest, and I'm very awkward. You can't really get a sparring partner in to do me because I'm so awkward. I'm looking forward to fighting him. As I say, he's a legend. He's someone I've always loved watching. So to get the chance to actually get in the cage and fight with him is unbelievable. Like, I can't wait to have Justin Gaethje on my resume. It's going to be something that'll last forever, you know what I mean? It'll be part of my legacy.
And now the story tilts, just slightly, in the other direction. Because Gaethje's camp hasn't been sitting still, and this isn't some minor adjustment or routine sharpening. It's deliberate, surgical. They've been pouring time into recreating Pimplett's strange rhythm, that herky-jerky timing, the offbeat movement that makes opponents hesitate just long enough for chaos to slip in. This is about stripping away mystery, about shrinking the gap between styles that, on paper, shouldn't even line up cleanly. The goal is simple but dangerous. If you can live inside that rhythm long enough in the gym, you can dull it on fight night. If you can see the angles before they appear, they stop being weapons. Pimblett thrives on surprise, on dragging fighters into uncomfortable tempos where instincts break down. Gaethje's team knows that. So they're attacking the source, trying to turn unpredictability into familiarity, turning flow into something readable. It's a reminder that even the most feared fighters don't rely on instinct alone. They prepare for everything, especially the things that don't make sense at first glance. Because at this level, surprises don't just win fights, they end them.
Scousers don't get knocked out.
I'm a Scouser. We don't get knocked out.
What do you say to that?
Yeah, we'll see. I will try to test that theory.
Have you allowed yourself to think ahead to once you win, if you get the win, Ilya?
Nope, I've said it before, I don't ever plan on being alive after the fight, so if that's how it ends, then...
While Pimblett has kept things loud, loose, and almost mischievous in the way he's talked about this collision course, Justin Gaethje has gone the opposite way, drifting into something darker, heavier, and honestly unsettling. When Gaethje speaks about this fight, there's no playfulness, no wink to the crowd. He's been blunt to the point of discomfort, openly saying he has zero intention of holding anything back. He's even admitted he doesn't expect to be standing when the final bell sounds, which tells you everything about the mindset he's walking in with. This is Gaethje in his purest form, the all-in, walk through the fire version that has carved out his legend over years of chaos and violence. And the timing couldn't be bigger. With an interim lightweight title hanging in the balance at UFC 304 in Las Vegas, the pressure is suffocating. That belt only exists because the undisputed champion, Ilia Topuria, stepped away due to deeply personal circumstances, leaving a sudden vacuum at the top. But for Gaethje, this moment isn't about filling space. It's about history. Winning here wouldn't just add hardware, it would make him the first fighter ever to claim an interim UFC title twice. A strange, rare achievement that perfectly mirrors his career itself. Long, brutal, unpredictable, and constantly bending in directions no one saw coming, all leading back to this single, unforgiving night.
He's the win for Justin Gaethje. We all know Justin Gaethje. I know personally his calf kick is devastating and changes the tide of every single fight. So on a guy like Paddy Pimblett, this might even be the size difference. Paddy is going to be damn near 200 pounds the night of the fight. I don't think it's going to be this drastic. Will's probably about, what, 220? Yes, sir. About 220. And right now I'm probably 200, so that's a 20-pound difference. But I think the keys to Justin's victory, this is one of the main keys, is being able to use this calf kick effectively. So if me and Will are lined up here, the main thing I want Justin to be able to do is I want him to be able to jab and slap and put Paddy Pimblett, put his weight on this leg. I want him to constantly be putting his weight on this leg. So he's going to do that by cutting off this side, jab, slap, and before Paddy could even step, bombing that leg kick there. And if you look, Paddy was doing a great job doing the calf kick against Mike Chandler. He was doing a great job kicking, so he's probably going to return it. But I think in general, if Justin is able to keep bombing this leg kick, I think it's really going to shut Paddy down and be able to nullify a lot of his attacks. You might start seeing him limp. You might start seeing him to switch stances. From there, Justin can use the speed of his hands and use his boxing. I think it's much better than Paddy's. I think he's faster, and I think he's cleaner on the inside. I think this calf kick's going to be one of the main things to be able to beat Paddy.
Beyond the electricity of the main event itself, there's another layer humming quietly in the background. The rest of the lightweight division is watching, dissecting, and taking notes in real time. Every exchange matters. Every mistake reshapes the map. Arman Tsarukyan has already stepped forward and made his preference clear, and it's not subtle. He wants Gaethje to win, not out of admiration, but calculation. In his eyes, a Gaethje victory clears the fog, straightens the road, and puts his own title ambitions into sharper focus. Tsarukyan believes Gaethje would be far more willing to meet him head-on, while Pimblett, if crowned, might look sideways instead of forward, searching for safer or more marketable options. That belief alone adds pressure. Because this fight isn't just about belts or pride. It's about leverage. About who becomes unavoidable and who gains room to maneuver. In this division, nobody waits their turn. They circle, they angle, they position themselves for the moment chaos creates an opening. And everyone knows this fight is one of those moments.
Gaethje is fighting Paddy Pimblett coming up. Who do you favor?
I want Justin to beat Paddy. Yeah. Because Justin, he's gonna fight with me, but Paddy, if Paddy wins, he's gonna try to avoid me and trying not to fight me because he's not man like just.
Even Michael Chandler, one of the few men who can speak from scars earned against both sides of this collision, couldn't stay silent. Having shared the cage with each of them, his view carries a different weight, and it starts with honesty. After being stopped by Pimblett in April 2025, Chandler admitted what many fans still resist, that the Brit is far more dangerous and complete than he's often given credit for. That said, when pressed to put his reputation behind a prediction, Chandler doesn't hesitate for long. His lean is toward Justin Gaethje, and the reasoning is cold, not emotional. Experience, depth, a skill set hardened by years of surviving the worst nights imaginable. In Chandler's assessment, Gaethje isn't just another opponent, he's a category shift, a violent examination Pimblett hasn't yet been forced to sit through. A test that doesn't ask questions, it takes answers. Chandler even widens the lens further, floating the idea that Gaethje could go on to unify the lightweight titles by eventually beating Ilia Topuria as well. But in the same breath, He calls Topuria possibly the most skilled fighter in the sport right now. No contradictions, just reality. Because that's what lightweight has become. A knot of elite talent, overlapping threats, and futures colliding all at once, where every confident prediction quietly admits how little certainty actually exists.
Patty, what do you think it looks like?
Oh man, more skilled, more experienced, I think better fighter all around, Justin Gaethje. But I also have been on record and said that Paddy Pimblett is better than a lot of people think he is. You know, because of his haircut and the way he talks, and when I fought him, he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got long reach, good kicks, pretty darn patient and composed in there, but Gaethje's a whole different animal. So if I had to bet, I'd go Justin Gaethje, interim champion, and then he beats Ilia Topuria later on.
Adding yet another voice that carries real weight, Uriah Faber has landed on a strikingly similar conclusion, and the way he frames it only sharpens the tension. When Faber breaks this fight down, he doesn't see balance, he sees collision. He views Gaethje as someone who lives for disorder, a fighter who doesn't just survive chaos but feeds on it, fully willing to absorb punishment if it means dragging his opponent into deep, violent water. That mindset matters here. Faber is quick to respect Pimblett's submission game, calling it a legitimate, ever-present danger that can flip a fight in seconds if you make a single mistake. But respect doesn't equal doubt. In Faber's eyes, Gaethje's long history of high-level collegiate wrestling quietly changes the equation. It's the safety net underneath the madness. The skill set that allows him to stay calm when positions get ugly, to survive scrambles without panic, and most importantly, to decide where this fight actually takes place. Faber believes Gaethje can nullify the threat on the mat just long enough to force resets, stand the fight back up, and guide the action toward the kind of exchanges he thrives in. The kind where pressure breaks rhythm, damage accumulates, and hesitation gets punished. To Faber, that combination of chaos and control is exactly why this matchup feels so dangerous, and why once the fists start flying, it may unfold on Gaethje's terms whether Pimblett likes it or not.
Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje, who do you favor in that fight?
I gotta go with Gaethje. I feel like he's the one that loves to get down and throw fist for fist. And he's also got the Division I wrestling to negate some of the biggest skill sets of Paddy. Paddy's a very dominant grappler when it comes to submissions. I think Gaethje has the tools to keep it where he wants it.
Tony Ferguson, one of the few people who's actually stepped in the cage with both men, brings a completely different angle to the table. He's not talking technique or timing. He's talking about the thing you can't measure on paper: motivation, the fire behind the fight. Ferguson's take is that this could be the defining factor. He points to Gaethje's complicated history with interim titles, the fact that he's won one and then lost one, and how that unfinished dream of a true championship might be a heavy weight to carry. That kind of pressure doesn't just sit on your shoulders, it sits in your mind, and it can make you reckless in ways you don't see coming. On the flip side, Ferguson sees Pimblett as the opposite, a man with nothing to lose and everything to gain, chasing his first major belt with a hunger that's almost desperate. That kind of drive, he argues, can be terrifying because it doesn't care about risks. It only cares about results. Ferguson doesn't pretend either fighter is unbeatable. He admits both are vulnerable on any given night. But in the end, he leans toward the kind of energy that comes from a fighter who feels like he's standing on the edge of something that could change everything. A newcomer with a burning, relentless push for a career-defining moment, and a belief that this is his time.
Not bad, dude. Paddy's not bad. He's very beatable, and Gaethje's very beatable as well. But when it goes into the passion and how upsetting Justin Gaethje has always been about not getting that real title shot, and they just keep dangling it right there again, Paddy's in for a new treat, right? Paddy's the one that's never fought for a belt. He's going in there. He's going to be trying to, get that stuff. He's going to feel a little bit more fresher. He's going to have that little bit of excitedness, in my opinion.
As January 24th gets closer, the story around this fight keeps twisting and turning, shifting in real time with each new comment and training update. Pimblett's shockingly bold claim about his gym teammates' striking ability has injected yet another layer of intrigue into a matchup that already had enough drama to fill an entire season. Meanwhile, Justin Gaethje's dark, relentless focus and battle-hardened mindset sit in stark contrast to Pimblett's playful confidence, creating a clash of personalities that feels almost as intense as the fight itself. And you can bet the entire lightweight division is watching this unfold like it's a live blueprint for their own future. Every contender is waiting to see who survives, who comes out looking unstoppable, and who earns the right to face Ilia Topuria when he finally returns to the Octagon. No matter what happens inside that cage, the interim lightweight title fight at UFC 304 is shaping up to be a collision of styles, egos, and ambition that will ripple through the division for years to come.